Death toll in Plateau rises to 52 as suspects of attack arrested. Gunmen killed 2, abduct 12 in Benue highway attack. Supreme Court sets aside judgment recognizing Aburi as LP national chairman. On a foreign scene, Trump unveils $5 million gold card for wealthy Nigerian migrants. Others. Good evening, this is News Update on Trust TV. I am Chiamaka Nwafo. Thank you for joining us. The death toll in the attacks on 5 communities in Bokkos local government area of Plateau State on Wednesday has risen to 52, leaving families in mourning and survivors seeking refuge. Aldo Musa completes the report.
The attack came just 6 days after a similar assault in Ruwi community, where gunmen killed 10 people and injured 3 others during a wake-keep ceremony. Eyewitnesses say the attackers stormed the communities in the evening, firing indiscriminately. Houses were set ablaze, and 35 villagers fled into the surrounding bushes, leaving behind their belongings and, in many cases, loved ones. John Matom, a member of the Bokkos Cultural Development Council, said the devastation is overwhelming.
From 27th to the 2nd, in about 5 villages, the whole Mangar, Hoti, and the rest, we have lost a minimum of 52 individuals. 5 of them children who were burnt beyond recognition. The problem now is that these numbers cannot be adequately confirmed as we are still discovering dead bodies. So the minimum count is 52.
Reacting to the development, Brigadier General Gakchi Shipi, retired, acting coordinator of Operation Rainbow and special advisor to Governor Caleb Mutfan on security, confirmed that several suspects have been arrested in connection with the attacks.
For the past 2 days, we've had those attacks within the general area of Josho, Daho, and Manguna. And in the process, a lot of communities have been razed and some casualties have been recorded. The exact figures are not yet concluded because up till now we are still undertaking operations to determine the total extent of casualties. But we have definitely recorded some, and in a very gruesome manner for that matter. We've been unable to put our finger as to what gave rise to what has happened, but gladly the security agencies have made some very important arrests that are helping us to unveil what has gone wrong.
He further alleged that the perpetrators were attempting to instigate further violence in the state.
I said earlier that there was no form of provocation whatsoever that led to these attacks. So what first hit my mind with all the evidence before me is that there are some people that just instigated this for their own selfish reasons. We are all aware that there are people who benefit from insecurity. And I think the peace we've enjoyed all this time has put their business at a standstill.
The latest arrest may bring some relief, but the frequency of such attacks raises concerns about the effectiveness of security measures in preventing further bloodshed. Also speaking on the situation, the Plateau Youth Council called on residents to remain calm while security forces work to restore order.
It's quite emotional for people who have lost their loved ones and for us in the state generally, but we appeal to youths to be calm and to allow law enforcement agencies do their job. We will not be pushed to the point of breaking the law ourselves. We refuse to be intimidated by this kind of activities, and we will continue to be law-abiding.
While the call for calm is crucial, many residents remain skeptical, fearing that without decisive action, these attacks may continue to occur unchecked. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Troops of Operation Safe Haven in collaboration with Operation Lefin Jama have successfully repelled attacks targeting communities in Bokkos local government area of Plateau State. The region has recently been the target of coordinated attacks by armed men particularly in the communities of Tamisu, Dafo, Manguna, Tadai and Hruti, which have faced significant violence and losses in recent years. Major Samson Zokum, the Media Information Officer for Operation Safe Haven, confirmed the success of the operation in a statement issued on Friday. Gunmen attacked an 18-seater Benue Links transport bus on Thursday night, killing the driver and the front seat passenger while abducting others. The attack occurred at Ikobi near Otukbo as the bus traveled from Maduguri to Otukbo. Sources say the assailants let the kidnapped passengers into the bush, with only few managing to escape, while the Otukbo local government chairman Maxwell Ogiri initially reported 5 abductions. Benue Links later confirmed 12 missing passengers. The attack came just hours after Governor Hyacinth earlier assured Otukbo residents of improved security following recent protests over rising insecurity. Ironically, the ambush happened shortly after his visit, leaving the community shaken. An abandoned baby girl has been rescued after she was found near Niger Bridge in Ajaokuta area of Kogi State. Resident Omera Ogbede Okbalua, who posted the video on Friday, said the child was found by one of the leaders of the community after he heard her crying at the riverside. The community leader said some baby clothes, a wrapper and other items were also found at the scene. He added that the community will notify the local government authorities and take care of the baby until they can identify the mother. The Supreme Court has set aside the judgment of the Court of Appeal in Abuja recognizing Julius Abure as the national chairman of the Labour Party. In a unanimous judgment, the 5-member panel of the Apex Court held that the Court of Appeal lacked jurisdiction to have pronounced Abure national chairman of the Labour Party after finding out earlier that the substance of the case was about the party's leadership. The Apex Court held that the issue of leadership was an internal affair of a party over which courts lacked jurisdiction. The court further allowed the appeal filed by Senator Nenadi Usman and one other and held that it was meritorious. It also proceeded to dismiss the cross-appeal filed by the Abure group of the Labour Party for being unmeritorious. The National Judicial Council (NJC) has distanced itself from Justice Theophilus Nnamdi Nzeku's appointment as the acting Chief Judge of Imo State. The council, in a statement on Friday, said its attention was drawn to the news that Governor Hope Uzodinma had appointed Justice Nzeku, the fourth in the hierarchy of judges, as the state's Chief Judge. Governor Uzodinma based his action on a recent disciplinary action taken against the erstwhile Chief Justice of the state by the legal body. In the statement that was signed by its Deputy Director of Information, Kemi Ogedengbe, the NJC admitted that Governor Uzodinma earlier wrote a letter requesting its approval to appoint Justice Nzeku as the acting CJ of the state, notwithstanding his position as the fourth in line of seniority. Over in Rivers State, the Administrator, Vice Admiral retired Ibok Ete Ebas, has said that an appropriation bill for 2025 is being articulated to provide for critical development concerns in healthcare delivery, education, agriculture, and infrastructure. Vice Admiral retired Ebas also said that the anticipated budget will cater to creating more employment opportunities for Rivers people and advance delivery of technology in critical facets of public life. Administrator gave the hint when he hosted the delegation of Rivers State Caucus at the National Assembly, led by Barinanda Mpigi, the senator representing Rivers Southeast District, at Government House in Port Harcourt on Thursday. Vice Admiral retired Ibas said he has been resolute since assumption of office to restore law and order, and with support from security agencies, an environment has been created where Rivers residents feel valued and safer. The administrator stated that the commitment is to make Rivers a model of peace in the committee of state with a stable economy and citizens courageous to pursue their livelihood without fear or molestation.
The people of Rivers State have shown incredible resilience and patience, and I assure you that we are committed to ensuring that this peace remains lasting. Beyond security, We have prioritized community engagement as a central part of our strategy. Dialogue, reconciliation, and inclusivity have been key to rebuilding trust among our people. We are determined to strengthen the bonds of unity in Rivers State and to foster an environment where every citizen feels valued, heard, and respected. Together, we are making strides in ensuring that peace becomes a permanent feature of our state.
All of these have instilled hope and promise as we eagerly look forward to the positive transformation you will undoubtedly bring about in order to usher in a fresh era of peace in our beloved state and fresh dawn of public order and public safety based on respect for law and order and the Constitution. We commend your effort to engage with stakeholders, which began with traditional institutions, as part of your commitment to restoring peace, particularly in our local government areas. We also acknowledge your determination to ensure timely payment of salaries and wages of workers and pensioners, which underlines your interest in the welfare and well-being of our citizens. At a time of uncertainty, which leaves many vulnerable in several ways, your compassionate and meticulous approach is bringing stability and restoring confidence.
The biting economic situation in the country is forcing motorists to resort to using expired or second-hand tires, which the Federal Road Safety Commission, FRSC, says constitute a critical road offence, with offenders liable to a fine of 3,000 naira. The Commission also links many fatal accidents to tire busts, advising motorists to check expiry dates before purchasing or using any tire. Amadati's report is presented from our studio.
According to the Sector Public Education Officer, Federal Road Safety Corps Kano Command, Abdullahi Labaran, the Commission is consistent with its commitment to creating safer motoring environment, always cautioning motorists against use of expired tires, which he added constitutes critical road offense. Labaran said Section 10.4 of the Road Safety Act provides for imposition of a 3,000 naira fine on motorists using expired tires.
Our own angle as the road safety is concerned, it's one of the critical offenses or causes of fatal crashes in the country, because these expired tires, or the combo tires as you call them, the rubber has already lost its elasticity because of time. The one bad thing about it, people just look at the just how nice the tire looks, but not without knowing that it has already expired, and there's a tendency at any given time it can blow out. That is why sometimes you see most of these accidents we normally have, the fatal accident along our highways are caused by this tire burst. And when we make research, we conduct our crash investigation. Mostly it is as a result of using expired tires.
Dauda Metaya, a dealer in new and second-hand tires, said customers prefer second-hand ones because they are relatively cheaper and they hardly look at expiring dates.
Sabanin yanzu yadda rayuwa ya riga dan canja, mutane da dama sun fi daukan tourists din akan sababbi.
Due to the current high cost of living, the majority of people prefer to buy old or used tires rather than new ones. Gambo Alkali said the prevailing economic realities in the country made him use second-hand tires instead of the new ones he bought every 2 years in the recent past.
Akwai poor economic environment.
The economy is so poor that most things are no longer affordable, so people mostly focus on providing food. Tires have become very expensive. In the past, I used to buy new tires every 2 years, but now I go for second-hand ones. Recently, I bought 2 used tires for 9,000 naira each. They were good quality, so that totaled about 18,000 naira. But you see, most people, especially the public transport drivers who should ideally be buying new tires because of how frequent they use them, nowadays they buy old ones due to economic hardship. Unfortunately, this could actually lead to road accidents. The lifespan of a tire is expected to be 5 years.
You're on to news update on Trust TV. Still to come. Take a look at how Trump administration's 14% tariff on Nigerian exports threatens an already fragile trade relationship. More when we return. Please do stay with us. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. A recap of our top stories. We told you that death toll in Plateau rises to 52 as suspects of attack are arrested. Gunmen killed 2, abduct 12 in Benue Highway attack. Two more stories. Mixed reactions have continued to trail the recently proposed bill by the Senate to give the traditional institution a constitutional mandate that would guarantee their mode of operation devoid of interference from other tiers of government. In Bauchi State, residents shared their thoughts on the matter and some of its possible intricacies if the bill becomes law. Trust TV's Adamu Imam files on the report.
The senator representing Plateau South, Simon Lalon, and one other presented a bill recently to give traditional institutions constitutional backing in managing their affairs, while helping in addressing security challenges facing various communities in the country. Some residents expressed divergent views on what they describe as a welcome development.
In different aspects of social, economic, and defensive purposes. For instance, just as the traditional institution before the independence of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, they are the head of the native authorities, and they knew the problems of their peoples. And even before the British occupation of Nigeria, the whole country or the whole emirate was administered by the emirs as their head.
This is a good move, and once the traditional institution is being empowered, I believe all this issue of insurgency, criminality, and what have you will be less, because there will be check and balances, because under the traditional institutions, it is a well-coordinated institution that from the emir to the village head to the lowest person that is in control of each area, and whoever that comes into that area, he has to notify the Meangwa of that area that he has a visitor or he is a visitor in his area.
Others who have different opinions say the initiative needs wider consultations before the consideration of the bill.
Simply go to maybe a place like Makodi and say you are having a town hall meeting, and you just talk to people, blah blah, academicians, the elites. They will give you very superficial stories that will not hold water. You have to go deep, find out from the people, from the villagers, how it all started. You go to the Igbo land, it's the same thing, where you have the autonomy groups and the rest. They revere their chiefs very, very much. So these things have to be taken into very, very serious consideration.
Governors have made it to become a political affair, something. You know, at the time of campaign or what have you, all the other institutions will be afraid to attend social party, social candidate, because the fear of government, state government may embarrass them.
How sure are you that they will not clash with political leaders? For example, local government chairmen that have been elected. You want to give a traditional ruler now, constitutional, what kind of constitutional rule? Know that the traditional ruler is under the government. At the grassroots, the local government chairman. So in doing the constitutional rule for traditional ruler, we have to be very careful to make sure that we don't rush it. It's something that Nigerians have to be consulted widely, constitutional lawyers, different all stakeholders should be widely consulted.
They, however, urge the traditional institution not to use the advantage of the constitutional recognition to entrench impunity. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
The Trump administration's 14% tariff on Nigerian exports threatens an already fragile trade relationship, raising costs and reducing market access. Nigerian exporters are looking to China for alternatives, as many experts say the country must move beyond raw exports and invest in value-added production to stay competitive. As Ibrahim Shehu reports, the challenge is whether Nigeria can adapt or risk falling further behind in global trade.
Like many African countries, Nigeria is on the firing line for U.S. tariffs, with the imposition of 14% tariff on export. Trade between Nigeria and the U.S. last year worth about $10 billion, which experts consider very low. Prior to the imposition of a 14% tariff by the Trump administration, many of Nigeria's exports to the United States benefited from the African Growth and Opportunity Act, which allowed eligible products from sub-Saharan African countries to enter the U.S. market duty-free. With American tariffs driving up the cost of crude oil and the Russian-Ukraine war affecting the global supply, the price of crude oil could impact Nigeria.
It's good we see ourselves in a positive light, but we are not yet maximizing our capacity to add value in that sense. So for now, we're just producing enough to sell, and any amount we produce, we will still sell.
Nigeria's crude oil production surged to 1.75 million barrels per day early this year, up from 1.5 million barrels per day in late 2024. With crude oil accounting for approximately 75% of total exports, exporters are already eyeing new markets, including China, which is turning to Nigerian raw materials and agricultural products to offset losses from American tariff.
China coming to Nigeria to seek or to buy our cocoa and sesame seed is a good thing for us. But if I am in position of policy making, I prefer to add the value to those products here, or invite those Chinese people, come to Nigeria, come and establish your factory here.
Analysts say the country could expand its exports, particularly in agriculture and processed goods, by taking advantage of government efforts to devalue the local currency, the naira, in order to attract foreign exchange and boost trade.
The devaluation currency actually have been a good one for exporters and myself. I export value-added agro products, processed food generally. That's what I export. I'm a merchant, meaning I don't have a factory. I have a number of SMEs that produce different products. So when I get contract from my buyer in Europe, I buy from different people and aggregate for export. And the devaluation has really helped, sincerely.
While ports in Lagos are bustling with activities, here in the capital Abuja, policymakers are grappling to leverage on this opportunity. Experts are calling for swift regulatory reforms and investment in infrastructure to ensure that Nigeria does not miss out on this global realignment. Experts say Nigeria could earn more money by adding to raw commodities. For instance, official statistics show that in 2023, it shipped nearly $670 million worth of cocoa beans, while chocolate exports were just over $27 million.
This for me is a good opportunity for us to really put our thinking cap and to invest heavily in the agricultural sector and export finished products. Instead of exporting raw cocoa, we should be exporting chocolate. Instead of exporting sesame, raw sesame, we can be exporting sesame oil or sesame butter. These are all areas that we just have to take advantage of, while the current face-off between the US and China and Canada and other countries is going on.
Soybeans exports are however on the rise and are projected to jump from 7,000 metric tons last year to 212,000 metric tons this year. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, this is due to lower domestic consumption and higher export demand by Nigeria's non-genetically engineered beans.
Nigeria can increase its forex earning from soybeans alone. After all, we have a lot of deal with China to come and build in Nigeria, right? So we can say, China, look, why don't you pledge to buy at least $10 billion worth of soybeans from Nigeria? We will give you this amount of contract to construct in Nigeria. We have the agreement. then we can go to work and produce agri-commodity en masse to sell to China. Because China demand is about 60%. Global demand is about 100. China alone is buying 60%.
China remains Nigeria's largest trading partner with a two-way trade of over $20 billion, according to the National Bureau for Statistics.
Foreign direct investment is a highly competitive thing. People will go to where they spend less and less hassle. So these things are affecting our capacity to export and the success of our products in the international market.
Nigeria exporters say they face tough competition from cheaper Chinese goods, raising concerns over whether these measures will be enough to safeguard local businesses. Ibrahim Shil, Trust TV News, Abuja, Nigeria.
U.S. President Donald Trump has unveiled the first gold card, a residency permit set to be sold for $5 million each. The high-priced visa, designed as an alternative to the traditional green card, aims to attract wealthy investors and job creators to the United States. Holding a prototype featuring his face and an inscription reading "The Trump Card," the Republican president expressed his enthusiasm for the initiative. Trump stated that the special visa would likely be available in less than 2 weeks. He has previously asserted that revenue generated from the program could be used to reduce the U.S. national deficit. That concludes news update at this time. For more of our news programs and documentaries, you want to follow us on our social media platforms and on our YouTube live stream. I am Chamaka Mwafo. Thank you, goodness, at this time. Good evening.